Good morning, traders. Welcome to another weekly forecast. So you've been watching for the last weeks, we've been waiting for this EU move, this breakout to the upside, targeting 50% of the range before we have that short continuation. And you can see very nicely that we have come into this first liquidity target that we had over here. And we're currently just coming in to fill in some of this imbalance. So I do see the possibility here for price to come up higher, take out this liquidity over here, of course, before having that shift in structure, which would be our confirmation to start taking shorts again. Now, we are obviously creating liquidity below here as well as we start heading up higher. Ultimately, I would prefer to see this as fuel for when we come back lower later on. But it is possible that price could now decide to come back, fill this in first, and then have that push up higher. So for me at this stage, I wouldn't really care about trying to predict which way it wants to go. I just like to mark out the possible areas of liquidity or areas of interest and see how price reacts and which way it wants to go. So if it does come down first, then I know I'm aiming for these levels as liquidity, and if it goes up first, then I know obviously it's just going to follow the trend and we have liquidity already for price to head down lower. So that's why I would say just don't try and predict, just react to what is actually happening. So we can head down to the lower time frames on EU, and we can see that the 1 hour is also bullish. Let's head down to 5 minute, and we can see here as well we kind of have this nice sweep of Asia low. So maybe today already, if we have that breakout higher, we could potentially trade the retest in New York or even London, but let's see how London opens. Moving on to GBP USD, as we discussed last week, this is just a simple retracement trade. Wanted to see price come into the supply. It's come up higher, so taking liquidity. Looks like we're tapping into this supply over here. So look at this. By the time EU comes up here to sweep that liquidity, GU should also kind of tap into this supply, and then we would just wait for reversal signals, so shift and structure on both, and then we could short those together. So for the time being, there's nothing to do on GU. Gold, as we said, I was not expecting it to come retrace all the way back up to premium, but it does seem like we've shifted down bearish again. And what I would pay attention to is that it comes back up to sweep liquidity before making that move down. So it came all the way back up here, taking liquidity and then making that move down. So right now you can see that it has been heading down, but in order to not get caught out on the sweep, I would just wait for it to come clear these highs, potentially come up like that, and then take the short once again. Now, in terms of news this week, we do have JOLTS, PMI, and NFP, so it is one that might require patience just to let the volatility get out the way before we get into any trades. So obviously good setups, but keep an eye on what's being released and when, so you're not being caught out. And yeah, I wish you guys a successful week.